All right, guys, I am on a long layover today in Iceland. Behind me is the Hallgrímskirkja, famous cathedral. Anyway, here for a little while. I'm gonna go around, see a few things, and tell you what I love, what I hate, and give you some tips for Iceland on a long layover. Iceland is kind of a back door to Europe. If you've ever flown between the United States and Europe, you know you fly right over Iceland and Greenland. And so you arrive at the airport, and what you find is it's a bustling and busy airport. It's a nice airport. And a lot of people come through here to and from Europe and North America. And a lot of people, it's common, are here for a short layover, 24, 48 hours. In fact, let it be a tip. If you're having a difficult time booking your airfare to and from Europe and North America, you may want to check about going through Iceland, because sometimes you can find much better prices and a more convenient itinerary for you. The first thing I did was check out my rental car, and I hit the road. Now, it's about 40 minutes between the airport to Reykjavik. I arrived at 9 a.m. and my strategy was to go to Reykjavik first and check out the city, get some food to eat before going and seeing the sights. And so that's exactly my strategy. I drove up to Reykjavik. Here in the central part of Reykjavik has a small town feel, which is kind of cool, even for the biggest city in the entire country. So now as you walk around Reykjavik, there are plenty of shops, plenty of places you can buy souvenirs, you can buy clothing, and there's plenty of restaurants. The place you may want to go is this little hot dog stand here. They say Iceland has the best hot dogs in the world. They call them pilsir. And this hot dog stand, celebrities have come here. President Bill Clinton came here. I had to give it a try. And I've got to say, it tasted pretty good. It was one of the better hot dogs I've had. Now, if you're not in the mood for a hot dog, you can always try a delicious pastry. You walk around and you'll find there are a number of different bakeries throughout Reykjavik. I went into this one, which was very near the Hallgrímskirkja church, and bought myself a delicious, kind of a cinnamon roll, if nothing else. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I do know that it was terrific. It tasted great. One last foodie tip, you've got to try some Icelandic chocolate. It's among the best European chocolate I've had, and believe me, I've had my fair share. You can pick up this brand, it's called Nói Sirius, in the airport or other stores, and you don't want to miss it. Now eventually you're going to make your way to the center of town, past the Leif Erikson statue, to the Hallgrímskirkja church. And this is really a neat cathedral. It's something you're going to want to see. It's a newer cathedral. It's not like the old churches that you find in Central Europe. This thing was built starting in the 40s and completed in 1986. You go inside, it doesn't cost anything to go inside, and you can observe. It's beautiful. The organ here is spectacular. But what I recommend is going to the top. You pay a small fee. I think it's the equivalent of about 5 or 6 euros, and you can take the elevator up to the observatory. And the observatory isn't exactly nice, but you do peek out of these open air windows, and you are treated to by far the best view of Reykjavik that you're going to find. And you can walk around and capture a 360-degree view of the city, which I'd highly recommend. It's absolutely worth it to go to the top and check out this view. Now, if you're into history, you may want to pass by this house, the Hovdi House, which was the site of the famous Cold War summit between Gorbachev and Reagan in 1986. Now, my flight arrived around 9 a.m. I went to Reykjavik and spent several hours. But by middle of the afternoon, I was anxious to do something besides just explore Reykjavik. I wanted to see some of the waterfalls and some of the gorgeous sights in Iceland. So I head south toward the Seljalandsfoss waterfall. Now, this took about an hour and 40 minutes. Altogether, it's about 130 kilometers. But the neat thing is you see the Seljalandsfoss waterfall approaching from a distance of several kilometers away. In fact, it's kind of exciting to see the waterfall and approach it. Two things that impressed me about this waterfall. First of all, it's bigger than it looks. It falls 197 feet. That's 60 meters. The other thing is it's exceptionally green around this area. It reminds me almost of like a Hawaii or an Ireland. I told myself I wasn't going to get wet. This falls is just too cool. It kind of draws you in. You want to walk around it. It's pretty impressive. You can walk all the way underneath and around this waterfall. Just remember, you're going to get a little bit wet. You, along with the other 300 tourists that are surrounding you. Now, if you want to beat the crowds, there's a secret. Just come early or stay late. You can see this waterfall as late as midnight in the summertime in Iceland. Now, don't head back to your car too quickly because you're going to want to wander 400 meters down the trail from the Seljalandsfoss to the Glufrafoss, which is a beautiful waterfall in a little ravine. Just be aware you are going to get a little bit wet here as well. Next up, I got in my car and I drove down to the Skoafoss waterfall about 25 minutes away. And on the way, you pass by some unique landscape. One thing you notice is there's not a lot of trees and forests in Iceland. And my understanding is this is for a variety of reasons, one of which is there's just a lot of lava rock and the soil conditions aren't ideal. But you arrive at the waterfall, and the Skoafoss Falls is among the most beautiful anywhere in Iceland and maybe anywhere in the world. It's extraordinarily picturesque. You can walk right up to it. If I had to say it reminded me of something, it would probably be Vernal Falls, which is a popular waterfall in Yosemite National Park. It's as close as I'm going to get to it without getting completely soaked. Now, you may want to stay at the Skoafoss Falls for quite some time, and I can't blame you. But when you're ready, get in your car, drive 30 more minutes south down to the Dyrhólaey Arch. I don't know if I said that right, but to get there, you got to drive on this dirt road up a hill, and you get to this vista where you look out on the black sand beaches below, and you also are treated to this arch and a view of the ocean that's spectacular. Take a look south from here and you'll see the Reykjavik beach, which is only about a mile away. You can walk to it, but most people will drive to this beach. You go up and around, it takes about 25 minutes. You pass by some unique landscape, including this church, and finally you arrive at the Reykjavik beach, which has the most interesting rock formations, both out in the water and right on the beach itself. My first impression was, clearly that's where the famous Hallgrímskirkja church up in Reykjavik was inspired by these rock formations. You walk around and there's a little cave. You're going to have to fend off some other tourists. It's a crowded spot, but some of the more unique rock formations that you're likely to ever see. And don't forget to look back towards the Dirholier Arch, and you'll capture some beautiful views. In my case, it was sunset. By now, it was getting to be about 7:30 p.m., but I still had a few more places on my agenda. So I went back the way I came, 146 kilometers past the town of Selfoss to the secret Lagoon hot springs. A long drive, I had some thoughts. Okay, remember in junior high when you learn about Iceland and Greenland and how there is a trick the settlers use where Greenland is actually the country that's really cold and Iceland is green and like this paradise. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm sure Greenland is an ice box, but Iceland is not exactly Hawaii. This is not a warm weather climate. I'm here in August. It's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit today. It's been raining. Everybody's got coats and jackets on. This is not a place you can just come to, even in the middle of summer, and not bring a jacket, long sleeve shirt. You just need to plan on it being a little chilly. I finally arrived at the secret Lagoon hot springs. Now, even though the sun appeared to be setting a couple hours earlier, it does not get dark quickly in Iceland in the summertime. There is still plenty of daylight left for a dip. Okay, I am here at the secret hot springs, and this was a recommendation by my cousin Eric, who used to live in Iceland and is very familiar with the area. He said, skip the Blue Lagoon. The Blue Lagoon is the most popular spot. It's world-renowned, but it also costs $100 to get in. And this place is kind of more authentic. This is the first hot springs in the country that you can come and bathe in. And so it's also on my way. It's my second to last stop of the day. And so thank you to my cousin Eric. This is a great recommendation. Costs about $25 to get in, and wow, what a relaxing way to finish the day here at the secret hot springs. So highly recommended. Now the hot springs could have been a great place for me to end my day, but I still had a couple more places on my list. Most of all, I wanted to go to the crown jewel, the place I'd been looking forward to, the Gullfoss waterfall. I got there after 10:30 p.m. and found that I had the place entirely to myself. I'm here all alone at dusk at Gullfoss, one of the more famous waterfalls in Iceland. This thing has a thunderous roar. Cascades down here, and then behind me here it falls into a huge crevasse, and the whole thing just has a ton of mist coming up. I'm already pretty much soaked, but it's tough to say if Gullfoss was my favorite waterfall, but it certainly did not disappoint. Afterwards, I got in my car and drove 10 minutes down the road to Geyser. And this is actually the place where the word geyser comes from. You walk around, you want to make sure to keep your camera rolling because of this. Yeah, the geyser at Geyser will actually explode without warning unexpectedly every 5 or 10 minutes. And if you're not rolling your camera, you'll miss it. From Geyser, I got in my car and once again got on the road and drove 45 minutes to Thingvellir National Park. Unfortunately, daylight had finally run out on me. Even then, I still got to see some of the natural landscape, and clearly this is a place I'm going to have to come back to explore. From there, I head back to Reykjavik, completing what is known as the Golden Circle, even though the last leg here was done in the dark. I arrived at Reykjavik in the wee hours of the morning, got back to my hotel, and crashed for the night. Okay, my tour of Iceland is over. My layover is over. I am on the way to the airport right now. I have a flight to Brussels. I had a whirlwind tour yesterday, and a special thanks to my cousin Eric, who lived here, who loves the people here of Iceland. He coached me along the way, helped me plan my itinerary, and even sent me some text messages. And what I would say, I've got a couple of regrets, and this kind of became apparent throughout the day. First, I did not have much contact with the Icelandic people. It would have been nice to have some interactions with them, and next time I come, I would love to have that experience more. The short interactions I had were very good. I think the people here are kind, but that leads me to my next regret, is just the nature of me trying to see so much in one day. I did not have a chance to sit down and enjoy things. This is something that, a trip that I should have had at least 2 or 3 days on a layover, or even a 10-day layover, to really experience the country. Yes, I would recommend it if you are here for just a short time on a layover. Get out, push the envelope, try to see as much as you can, but hopefully that layover is longer, because this is truly one of the crown jewels of really anywhere in the world as far as natural beauty. And so there you have it, the ultimate Icelandic layover, and what a wonderful place.